I watched engineers finish 30 certification, 50 tutorials, 3 weekend project, and still fail their first real production interview. It's not because they're not smart. They are smart. They did the work. The notebooks ran. The certifications stacked up. On paper, it looked like learning, but the interview room doesn't care what you have watched. It only cares as what you have decided, what is it that you have shipped, what's broken at 2 a.m., and what did you do about it. Now that's an entire different question. And the tutorials are not built to answer it. So that's what this video is all about. And it's the most uncomfortable conversation that I have with engineers, and it's the most useful one. All right, now let me be fair here because I'm not here to trash the tutorials. Tutorials are actually great at four key things. One is the syntax, second is the framework, basic workflow, and the last one is the quick wins, the kind that give you a little dopamine hit and it will make you keep showing up. You want to know as, let's say, how an agent is wired, or you want to know as how the vector databases takes an embedding, or how a chat completion call is actually structured. A good tutorial gets you there in less than 20 minutes. And that's a real thing, guys. And I don't want to take that away, but I want you to notice something, that what those four things have in common. They are all the surface level moves. None of them are decision. None of them are trade off. None of them are the work that separates a senior engineer from a junior engineer. A tutorial teaches you to type the right thing, but the production teaches you to choose the right thing under the given constraint. It's an entirely different muscle, and only one of them will actually show up on the interview. So here's the list of what tutorials almost never cover, and it's basically the whole job. Architecture trade off. When you pick, let's say, hybrid search over your plain vector similarity, what did you give up? Or when you pick an open source model over an API, what did you just commit your team to in an operational sense? So tutorials don't ask this question. Tutorials don't have the constraint. The example was actually chosen to work. Let's say the scaling decision. What happens when your index goes from 10,000 documents to 10 million documents? What happens to latency, to cost? What happens to recall? What happens to the questions which your LLM couldn't answer? The tutorial author didn't run this at the scale, so they can't tell you. Next one is the failure handling. Like what happens when the model returns the garbage JSON? When a tool call times out, what happens? Or when an API rate limits in the middle of the conversation, what happens in the scenario? So the production engineers think about the failure first, but the tutorials will hide it. Next one that I've seen is observability. Like, how do you actually know that your agent is doing the right thing? Not in the demo, but in the production. After you deploy, when nobody is watching, how do you ensure that your agent is working as per the expectation? Now, that's an entire discipline that your tutorials skip it. The production debugging. A user will complain that the answer was wrong. Can you actually trace it back? Was it due to the retrieval? Was it due to the prompt? Was it due to the tool? Or is it due to the model? Most engineers can't debug this because they never had to in the tutorials. The next one is the cost. The same workload at the same quality can actually cost you 5 times more, or it can even cost you one-fifth as much, depending on how you have built it. The tutorials don't have the budget. They don't keep the budget in the learning, but in your production, it lives or dies on the budget itself. And the hardest one, stakeholder trade off. Product wants, let's say, lower latency. Security wants stricter guard lanes. Your finance want lower cost. Now, what do you cut? And how do you explain it to the three rooms with three different goals. There's no tutorial that will actually cover this, but every senior engineer gets graded based on this. Now, here's where it gets uncomfortable. So, I want to be careful here. I'm not saying that you haven't learned. You have learned. I'm saying the feeling of progress and the substance of progress are not the same thing. And the tutorials are designed only for the feeling. Four things will make this happen. One, completion dopamine. Like you finish the notebook, the cells will run, you feel competent, and that feeling is actually real. And it has nothing to do with whether you could rebuild it from scratch or not, or whether you can build this under the load with a given deadline. Two, there's no ambiguity. The author has picked the framework, picked the model, pick the data set, pick the evaluation, pick the architecture. You just ran the cells. And in your case, the every senior decision was already made. So you never use the muzzle of choosing. Three, there's no design thinking. Like you didn't ask, is this even the right approach? Because the author had already decided that it was a good approach. But in production, that question comes before everything else because that is the job. Four, copy paste confidence. Because after five tutorials of the same pattern, you start to feel like an expert. But in reality, you're not. You're just the competent operator of one paved path. The first time the path forks, it always forks, and you don't have a way to choose. And that's the trap, guys. It feels like progress, but it's in the wrong loop. Now, let me describe what the job actually look like so that you have a clear contrast. You inherit a vague requirement, like we want to use the AI to summarize the support tickets. Now, that's not a spec, that's a wish. Your first job is to push back, narrow the scope, get someone to commit to what good looks like, decide what you're not going to build, and most importantly, none of this is in tutorial. You find out that your retrieval system is broken, the embeddings have gone stale because the underlying content keeps changing, and nobody set up for the re-indexing schedule. So in such scenario, you had to build one, but there's no notebook for this. Third, you hit a latency wall. Your model is smart, but it is slow. Stakeholders are now unhappy. So you now have to redesign. Maybe you need to use this smaller model that will handle the first pass, a bigger one that does the generation. Maybe you need to add a cache right now. So the right answer over here depends on the traffic pattern. And in such scenario, you have to first measure it. Now that's not part of your tutorial. Next, you realize that your evaluations are lying. The benchmark says 92%. The user still complains that it, it's more like a 70%. So either your eval set doesn't look like the production, or the metric that you are measuring is actually measuring the wrong thing. So in some scenarios, it may be both as well. So in such scenario, you need to rebuild the eval, which was not covered in your tutorial. The another common case is you hit a security review. The team will bring up the prompt injection, the data leakage, PII. Now you have to design the guardrail, document them, and prove that they work in front of the skeptical people. And none of this is in tutorial. And then we have the most common one, that is the 2 a.m. outage. The model provider has just had an outage. You get paged. Now, what's your fallback? Have you built one? Now, this is called as the work, guys. This is what gets graded in your senior engineer design decision as well as in your interview. And this is what your hiring manager is actually scanning for. 20 seconds into the conversation, this is what you gets graded upon in the right instant itself. So when you're in an interview, a senior AI hiring manager is not testing whether you're whether you're actually having a tutorial knowledge or not. They're actually testing five different things. That's it. First one is decision making. Can you pick between two reasonable option and defend the pick. Can you tell me what is it that you gave up when you are picking one? Second is the architecture thinking. Can you describe a system? Not as a stack of tools, but as a flow. Like the data moves through here, decision will happen here, the constraints push back here. Can you explain it in that manner? And do you have a debugging mindset? Like when something breaks, what is the first thing that you will look at? And how do you narrow it down? How do you know that you have actually found the cause and not a symptom? Trade off awareness. Do you know every choice has a cost? Can you tell me the cost of the choice that you have made? Communication clarity. Can you explain a complex system to someone non technical without lying, without dumbing it down too much, without losing the precision? So, if you notice what these have in common, they are not the knowledge questions, they are the judgment questions. And judgment comes from operating, not from watching. So, if you have done 30 tutorials and shipped zero system, your judgment muscle has not been touched. The interview will figure that out in 90 seconds itself. And no number of certificates is going to fix it. So what does the serious learning look like if it's not the tutorial? So it should involve four things. One, you should build a system, not the toy ones, a real one with an architecture, with an eval, a documented failure mode, and an opinion about what is it that you would change next. That one project teaches you more than your 30 tutorials. And I mean it, guys. Two, defend your decision. Every choice that you make, you have to write it down. What did you consider? What did you reject? And why did you reject it? And what is it that you give up? You have to force yourself to put the trade offs into words, and that's the muscle. Three, handle the ambiguity. Pick a project where the spec is not clear. On purpose, narrow it down yourself, decide what's in scope, decide what is not in scope, then defend that to a peer who will push back. Now, that's the muscle that your tutorial can't give you. Four, learn the failure pattern. When something breaks, and definitely it will in the production, it will break in the production, don't just fix it, name it. The shapes of the agent system failures are actually finite. So memorize those failures and they are worth more than any framework. So if you notice, all of them are actually uncomfortable. They are slower than the tutorials, but and more importantly, they give you less dopamine per hour, but they are the only path which will help you to pass the first screening. So, guys, here is the entire thing in a single frame, the tutorial loop. You will watch, you will run, you will complete, you will feel progress, and you will keep on repeating. It's comfortable, it's reinforcing, it optimizes for the visible activity. After 50 cycles, it produces an engineer who can describe a lot of things but decide nothing. The other side we have is the production loop. You pick one hard problem, scope it under constraint, choose an architecture, defend it, ship it, watch it break, document the failure, and decide what to change. It's uncomfortable, it's slow, it optimizes for judgment, and after three cycles itself, it produces an engineer who can walk into engineer, especially in the interview, and not flinch whenever a question is given. You don't need more tutorials. You need fewer tutorials, but deeper artifacts. The question is not how many things that you have learned. The question is whether you have built something where a senior reader would look at it and go and say as, okay, this person has shipped. So what I would recommend you is this. I would recommend three moves to make this week. Pick one problem that you actually care about. It should not be a generic chatbot, something with real constraint that you understand. Scope it. So you scope it to maybe one feature, one user, and have one quality bar. Write the whole scope on one page, document it, and that's what we call it as the production shape thinking. Two, pick your architecture, but write down the two alternatives that you have rejected for this architecture and also mention as why. That means this why in the artifact is the most people actually skip it. And then they wonder as why their interview answers feel thin. Three, build the smallest end-to-end version, not the best, the smallest, and then break it on purpose. Feed it with bad input, simulate a slow upstream, kill a tool, document what fails first and how you would handle it in the production. So I want you to do this once. Work on one artifact, then your resume will rewrite itself. So if you want structured practice with this loop, where the problems are ambiguous on purpose, where every decision has to be defended, failure modes are part of the curriculum. That's what the Agentic AI Enterprise Mastery Bootcamp is actually built around. It is execution heavy. It will not feel like a tutorial, and that's the point, guys. But whether you join or not, the core message stands. You're not stuck because you don't know enough. You're stuck because you have not operated under the constraint long enough to build the judgment. So start the other loop, one artifact at a time. The certificates will start to feel less urgent pretty fast when you start doing it. That's the video, guys. If it landed, you will know. You'll probably be a little uncomfortable after hearing this, and that's fine. Discomfort is the muscle. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.